Welcome back, guys.
Hey.
Welcome back. We're back again for another lesson, guys. This one is one of our most serious topics, one of our most serious discussions. Sometimes this topic here, it's like it's the elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about, especially in our community. But family, this thing hit close to home for us, so that's why we want to hop on here and talk to you about it. I'm sure you guys have probably experienced the same thing or know someone who has, especially in the black community. We're talking about this important topic, guys, that the rap culture, the hip hop culture, guys, is it destroying our youth? And we believe that to be so because it's different today, guys. It's completely different from the time when we were coming up. The music, just the culture in general, things have totally changed, and we're gonna talk about that, guys. And we're gonna go through scriptures and dive deep into this subject. But what we want to talk about is how I just was talking about that this tragedy hit close to home for us. We've had a family member that's, just a couple of days ago, they was just murdered, guys. Murdered, innocent person murdered.
A mother and a wife.
And a wife. And guys, out of all places, they were in their bedroom going to sleep. Yep. Going to sleep, was killed in cold blood. Never did anything, was getting ready to go to work for the next week. And guys, this wasn't a drive-by. This was
they targeted the wrong house.
Yep, they targeted the wrong house. The guys that did it, they actually went around to the back of the house in a wooded area and just walked up to their house and just started shooting in the window.
And their house was similar to the other houses that were next door to them. And my family member had a vehicle like one of the young fellas that was in some houses, a couple of houses down.
Right.
And those particular youngsters, it was some youngsters.
Mm-hmm.
They went, from what we've heard, they went and shot up an area. Yep. And so some other youngsters came back to retaliate. And my family member's vehicle was parked in the yard, and the other fella's vehicle wasn't parked, but their houses were similar.
Yep.
So they thought that it was the same house.
Yep.
And they went in the backyard, and as soon as they cut off their lights to get ready to go to bed, they just started shooting. And they said they had how many bullets?
50 bullets.
Bullets went through the house. My family member's wife was shot 13 times.
Yep.
Their daughter was in the house. Thank goodness she didn't get hit, but the bullets went through their walls. They shot through the bedroom.
Yep,
they shot through the living room.
Through the living room. It's like they all did it. I'm guessing it was about 3 shooters.
Yep. And their daughter knew to jump, to drop on the ground. So that's how she didn't get hit. And my family member, the husband, he dropped on the ground, at the same time, and thinking that his wife, that had dropped too.
Right.
But come to find out, she got hit while she was in the bed.
Yeah,
she never had time to drop down.
So guys, this is just a tragedy all the way around. Anytime that you can just go up to a random house and like I said, not a drive-by, just riding by and shooting. You actually walked around to the back of someone's house and just started firing inside the house.
Not even sure if that's the correct house.
The right house. So the question we asked ourselves is how is this even normal? This is like animal behavior.
Right.
This is like you have no conscience.
No conscience, no heart.
Exactly.
No compassion, no love,
you didn't care who would have died in the house. You just started shooting inside the house. So it has to be the culture. The culture has, because what would make it's a kid. Because a kid
in our generation, we still have people that have hearts. Like,
right.
It's not to, we know they have crazy things that go on in the world,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not hearing that many stories of people that's just going and doing some random stuff like that.
Right.
Just shooting up, like, I mean, this is crazy. Shooting up somebody's house and walk in their backyard to do it.
Backyard.
Innocent people, and you don't even know for sure if that's the correct house. You shooting to kill the entire household.
Exactly.
No matter who's inside. So this is just not, this is kid behavior. And actually, we've heard that it was young kids.
Right. We heard that it was kids. So it's just unbelievable, guys. And we were just talking about it the whole time, that it's the culture.
Right.
It's the culture. They're promoting this. And the question we have to ask ourselves, and I want you guys to listen to a clip that we're going to go through. It's a guy, he was a white pastor, and he talks about why is murder normal in the black community. And he made some great points. He did a TED talk about it. We're going to go over it with you guys. And we're going to touch upon some of the points he made. But why is this normal in our community?
Right.
There's something wrong when it's only normal in our community. Why do we even tolerate this?
Right.
Guys, we like to talk about Black Lives Matter, and it's cops killing black people and all that. And I don't need anybody from other communities coming on here and commenting about what we're addressing. This is our community. This is us. This is we talking at the family table here. This is in-house stuff.
Right.
But
and this is something that we're hearing. That's not just this situation. This is something that we keep hearing that has been going. I mean, it's going on weekly.
Right.
I don't know if it's happening where you guys are, but we're seeing it all around us.
Yep. Our city used to be like one of the quietest cities in our state.
Right.
It was the other big cities that had a lot of the crime. It never really touched us, but now it's coming here. So this thing is infecting every community. It's infecting every community.
And
I'm sure you guys you have stories. I'd like to hear your comments about it, of how this has impacted you. But I'm sorry, cut you off.
Oh no, I was just going to say, for those who are wondering, we are in Louisiana.
Yes. So I want to go through this, some of the points that this guy made right quick. And again, is the question that we need to ask is, why is it normal in our community? Why is killing, why is murder normal? Is this thing done on purpose? Is it a conspiracy? That's a question that we have to ask ourselves. Why do we tolerate it? And in this first clip I want to play for you guys, he's going to talk about just why is murder just accepted in the black community. So I want you guys to listen to that right quick.
About the nation in which we live. But I also learned that I, being White Mike, specifically the white part, have a lot of power. White Mike has a question today, and that's this. How come when you turn on the radio in Jacksonville, or New Orleans, or Chicago, or Little Rock, the only people on the radio that talk about how great it is to kill each other are black? How come that exists? 15 stations on a dial, go up, go down. The only people on the radio bragging about getting automatic weapons, gunning each other down, are black. This right here is a song. My pastoral vocabulary won't let me read the title, but I will read this. Catch a young black male not paying attention at the red light. With your AK-47, let me see you shoot it. You're a killer, you're a killer, you're a killer. You're a killer, black male. Let me see you prove it. Why does this exist? I'll take it even further, because a lot of time racism exists in what we don't know, what we don't see. Where are the white killers on the radio? Where are the white AK-47 shooters? Where are the white drug dealers? Where are the white people on the radio that brag about what it's like to murder witnesses before trial? The truth is, they don't exist. And the question is, why? Why don't they exist? Do white people not kill people? Do white people not use AK-47s to shoot each other? I mean, we know, do white people not do drugs? Do they not deal drugs? Of course they do. But why is it that it doesn't make it to our mainstream radio? Why is it that we don't hear it hundreds of times a day in hundreds of cities across the nation, thousands of plays that say the idea that a black guy would kill another black guy is something to be celebrated something to be romanticized. And why is it the white people don't do it? And maybe it's because there's no white audience for it. Or maybe it's because it's not really marketable. Maybe because can't get sponsors. I don't know why it is. Or maybe it's because it's just not the white man's role. Or maybe when white people get up and talk about being drug dealers and AK-47 killers, maybe it's even sicker than that. Maybe when white people do it, they're accused of acting black. The truth is, in America, black murder is normal. Black murder is normal. The idea that a black man or a black woman would be involved in a homicide, either as a perpetrator or a victim, is so common, so broadly accepted that it basically goes unnoticed. The truth of the matter is, black families are affected by homicide at rates of 10 times their white counterparts. There will be more.
He asked some very, very important questions, and that's the questions we have to ask ourselves. Why in the world is this normal in our community? Why do we just lay down and accept it?
Right.
Other communities don't accept it. Like he was saying, you don't see that in the white. The only white rapper that I remember is Eminem. And what he said, they were considered to be black. They were acting black, but standard white, cookie cutter, white family, white guy, you don't see that in their community.
You won't see it.
If you see a white one, they'll say he's acting black. So guys, something is wrong with that picture.
Yes.
Something is very wrong with that picture, and
how
why
we are portrayed.
Exactly.
Just our community.
And why are we standing for it? And we have a part to do in it too, because we're allowing it. This is something that we can control, that we can step up and say, no, we're not allowing this. Just like they did in the 60s and 70s when they started marching against the racism and stuff like that, the discrimination. They took a stand. They made a difference. They say, we're not going to allow this. Y'all going to treat us this way. And it's the same thing. We have a voice in this, and we can say, nah, we're not going for this.
Right.
This is unacceptable.
Right. Absolutely.
2 Timothy, it talks about how in the last days, 2 Timothy 3, verse 1, says, this know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. God, a lot of us don't like to talk about it, but this
is perilous times.
Exactly. This is
real perilous times.
Perilous.
You've been hearing people say it.
Right.
But this one here, this time, it really is perilous times.
Exactly. That's just unbelievable, guys. When you're in the safest place that you're supposed to be, and you get murdered inside your home. Not only just in your home, you're in your bedroom going to sleep. That's perilous times, guys.
And these people, this the one who got murdered, our family member and her husband, they were hard workers. So they went out and they worked to provide for their family.
Yep.
These people were not thugs.
Nope. Your average family, just like everyone else. Mother, father, and child. Mother, father, child. At the home with the picket fence, everything. This is just, it's like the Twilight Zone.
Yes.
It's just unbelievable. We just can't believe it. But guys, those questions that he was asking, why is this tolerated? Is somebody making money from this, or is it to portray a stereotype of black people and how they're animals? Is that to keep that going? That's a question that we need to answer and know why we're being portrayed like this, and why this keeps on being perpetuated.
What is the purpose behind that?
Why it keeps being perpetuated in our community?
Right.
Why is that? And it has a lot to do with our youth and how they're being stereotyped, and the sources, the resources that they need, why they can't get them. Do they want us to keep us in an inferior position?
Well, I mean, what else could we say? What else can we say?
Right.
I mean, all I can say is absolutely, because what else can we say? But at the same time, too, we have to be the ones to stand up and say, no, I'm not going to listen to your music.
Right.
I'm not going to support your music. I'm not going to give money to your music.
Right.
And we have to start advocating for the things that matter the most. I'm not saying that it doesn't matter if, someone in the black community is in police possession and something happens to them. I'm not saying that doesn't matter.
Right.
But what I'm saying is we're advocating hard for that. But what about our youth? Exactly. What about, because we know what type of society we live in There's racism, and it's always going to be.
Right.
I'm not saying everyone is racist. We know that to not be true. But we also know that we live in a society, especially if we, with what has happened to our nation of people, us being under a curse, we know that this thing will always happen with the racism until Yahushua will come and straighten things up and turn things around. But in the midst of all of that, we the ones have to come out and say, okay, there's other things that are important too. What about our children? Because a lot of times it is the kids too that they say that's in police possession and something happens to the kids, or they get shot, or whatever the thing may be. Okay, well, what about the music too? What about the things we doing to each other? Because we're talking about the police, the white police, and us. But what about what we're doing to each other? We're murdering each other. Senseless murder. What about this is the very thing that we need to be talking about. What we are doing to each other.
Exactly.
This is, come on, because this is not the cops who did this.
Nope. It's us who did it. Young kids who did it.
My daughter, she just had a little girl, 16 years old. They've been playing soccer since they were little kids.
Yep.
She got shot.
Yep.
By a 14-year-old.
Yep.
She was 16, got shot by a 14-year-old. You know why? Because of a chain.
Yep.
The little boy, he lost his brother, and he had a chain in his neck that was sentimental to him from his brother. And they were arguing, and she pulled the chain, and the little boy got sensitive, and he had a gun in his possession, and he shot her in the chest.
Wow.
She bled to death and died. For a chain.
So much life left in front of her, and she died because of that.
In front of both of them.
Exactly, yeah, because now he's going to jail for a long time. Now,
where does that come from? To where we're idolizing, and I can understand that he lost a loved one and stuff, but the fact that, kid, he couldn't control his emotions. That's obviously some type of mental issue that wasn't addressed. But at the same time too, when you listening to the music that's promoting violence, promoting killing, promoting disrespecting our women.
Yeah. What's gonna happen? It's like the dog, like training. If you got dog lovers that are watching puppies or whatever, you train them up from a young age. You train them to do certain things. You inculcate them with the behaviors that you want them to do, and train them to do. There's I taught my dog how to roll over. I never taught him how to get up on all fours. How could I later on tell them do all fours? I never taught them how to do that. They only could do what they're taught, what you're inculcating them with, and they've been indoctrinated with this stuff from a young age, and so eventually they're gonna have to. That's gonna show up somewhere.
Right.
It's gonna show up. So a lot of times, what people like to say is, so this is the critic. On the other side of the argument, they'll say, it's free speech. It's just entertainment. That doesn't affect you. Freedom of speech, freedom of expression. That's not real stuff. That's just entertainment. It doesn't affect you. Guys, we know that to be false. That's false, guys.
There's actually spirits.
Exactly.
There's spirits in the music. Yes. Because I've witnessed it. We were young before.
Yep.
And actually we was involved in that culture.
Yep.
Back in our young days. Yes.
We're guilty.
So we know what the music what it does to the kids, because it used to do it to us. The only difference is the music we listened to back then, it was a different type of music. It didn't promote killing. It didn't promote gun violence as much as it is doing today.
Right.
Because in our time, and some of you, you might be able to relate to that if you're a little older. But in our time, guns were scary to us.
Exactly.
If you carried a gun, you were considered a coward.
Yep.
You was like, you couldn't carry if a gun. That was like a shocking. Like if somebody got killed with a gun, that was a big deal for everyone, because we was like, a gun.
Right.
That was like something we didn't do.
That was way off base.
That was way off. So today it's like it flipped. It's like now you considered a coward if you don't have a gun.
Exactly. The first reaction is to pull out a gun. It's not even.
It's no more fist fighting or anything anymore. Now it's I'm not fighting you. I'm killing you.
There's no more I live to see another day. We'll fight. Like when we were coming up, we'd fight and then shake hands, dust ourselves off, we plan the next day. Now, and especially with the advent of social media, somebody's films you getting beat up, so now you feel like you have to do something.
Yep. Ego gets in the way.
Yep.
Pride.
Yep. So
you embarrassed.
Our kids are up against a lot, guys, and it really is our responsibility as parents to step up. Especially we were talking about it too, not only as parents but as the community, as a village.
A village. And that's another thing. In our time, we had a village. Like for us, we couldn't go around adults,
right?
Pumping all kind of music, rap music, and curse words and disrespecting adults.
Yep.
Because they would have put us in our place. And you know what? If they did put us in our place, then our parents would come back after them and put us in our place some more. Or we couldn't go to our parents and say, well, Miss such and such or Mr. such and such told me this. Because you know what they would say? Good.
Yep.
That's what you needed. Yep. They were right.
You deserved it.
Now, you do some stuff like that, the parents come into your house are looking for you because they want to fight with you for the children.
Exactly. Don't you tell my child nothing. Don't put your hands on them. And you never touch them. Don't tell them nothing. I'm their parent. You're not their mama. So, I mean, it's...
So now you're afraid of the kids. You're afraid to tell them anything now.
Yep.
Now we are afraid as adults. It used to just come natural because we looked at it as a village thing.
Yep.
Now it's like... I don't know if mama gonna come and want to fight me.
Yep.
I don't know if daddy gonna want to come and fight me or shoot me.
So guess what? I'm gonna stay silent. That's not me. That's on them.
That's on them.
Ain't got nothing to do with me.
So everybody's just worried about themselves now.
And we know that's Satan's number one tactic, to isolate. Once he isolates everybody, he has them right where he wants. Remember, Eve was deceived because she was isolated. She was by herself. A lot of time when Yahushua was tempted, where was he? He was in the desert. So when he isolates us, that's when he starts working his evil, his craftiness, his witchcraft.
And if you don't have the foundation, it's gonna overtake you.
It's crazy. Yeah, guys, we're talking about how rap culture is destroying our youth. The culture is destroying our youth, destroying our community, guys. We want to play another clip from this video of why is it tolerated and is not tolerated in other communities. That's a very important question. You don't see this stuff in other communities, guys. You don't see the senseless killing like this.
White entertainers create white entertainment. They carve out a black role, and the black role that they saw fit was to play this stereotypical black woman. That lasted up until in the early 50s. Then huge protests broke out, and they said, you know what? We don't want to be portrayed like that anymore. And to this day, if you want to watch Tom and Jerry, you go home, you want to watch it on Netflix, you want to watch it on Amazon, this comes up on the screen. It says, what you're about to watch contains some racial stereotypes. They were wrong then, and they're wrong now. They were commonplace. We don't want to edit her out because that will make it like it never happened. We're going to put her in, but know that we know there's something wrong with this. Now, we don't have Mammy Two Shoes today. You can't get away with it. Nobody would put it out there. But we do have black people that get on the radio every day in white-owned companies, white-owned stations with white-owned sponsors that play the role of hypersexualized, hypercriminalized male. I ask these advertisers, I say, I've got hundreds of songs a day that celebrate killing animals. Will you put them on your station? They said, no. I got hundreds of songs a day that talk about assaulting women and abusing kids. Would you put them on your station? They said, no. I said, I got hundreds of songs a day that talk about murdering blacks. Would you put them on your stations? They said, well, that depends. Depends on what? Who it's done by and who it's branded for. Because if we can get black folks to sing about it and we can brand it for our youngest black audiences, I think there's money to be made. I think there's American appetites to see these people that way. I said, how can you say that? They said, well, look, it's what these artists know. It's what they, black people, create. It's, matter of fact, our surveys say it's what they want to hear, which speaks of a sickness. How do we live in a society where somebody says, you know what, I'm inspired to write a song that celebrates murdering another person. And then a person says, I'd like to put that on my station. Another person said, I'd like to pay for it. And then there's people out here in the audience that go, I'd love to hear it, as long as it's black guys. Because even white people buy rap music, buy this type of stuff, because we know that when we want to hear about killing each other, we know who to turn to for that type of inspiration.
We falling right into the narrative, guys. We falling right into their hands. Come on, man. We can do better than that. We can do better, guys. We can do better. Jeremiah 23:14 talks about, in the scripture, talks about how we're not supposed to help out the evildoer. Read the scripture for you guys right quick. This is 23:14. It says, I have seen also in the prophets of Jerusalem a horrible thing. They commit adultery and they walk in lies. They strengthen also the hand of the evildoers, that none do it return from his wickedness. They are all of them unto me as Sodom, and the inhabitants thereof as Gomorrah. Scripture telling us, guys, we can't strengthen the hands of the evildoer. So how the guy was saying in the video, that this is on our stations, and when we listening to it, we keep feeding it. We watching the award shows and all that stuff. We supporting the culture, how they dress, buying the stuff that they feeding us. We supporting the hand of the evildoer. We can't do that. It's like you giving the guy the bullets to shoot you.
Right.
Come on, guys. We can't do it. We have to change it, guys. We have to change this narrative, and we're going to talk about how can we fix this thing. And I think how to fix it is starting with us as the parents.
Right. Yes.
It starts in the home, guys.
Absolutely, it does. It starts in the home. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm going to give an example of what we mean by what we just said, and it's starting in the home. When we went to visit the family member, we noticed something. Actually, I noticed something. We were standing up, and they had a lady. She walked in the yard with her grandbaby on her hip. A lady from our community. And she walked in the yard. And when she walked in the yard, they had some rap music that was pumping. Somebody was passing in the street with some rap music, pumping it loud. And she walked, nodding her head, and she started rapping the song with her grandbaby in her hand and doing the little dance, whatever. And then when she goes and she hugs my family member, and then she's like, they were talking, and she said, I'm over 40 years old. And I'm like, wow. So this is where some of it is coming from?
Yep.
Because sometimes now what we're seeing is the parents too.
Yep.
Because if she's over 40 years old and she's holding her grandbaby, then it's obvious she has kids. And she's walking and rapping the music out loud. We had even older people there that were elders in their 60s sitting there, and she didn't even, it's like, I don't even care who here. I am listening to this song, that's my jam, and she's just going hard with it. And I'm like, so this is where the youth is getting it from. And it's not to down our people, because every race has something.
Yep.
It's just that we are the ones that's in the spotlight that they promote to keep the agenda going and to make us continue to feel like we're inferior.
Yep.
But every community, as you heard from a Caucasian man himself, every community deals with violence.
Yep. But again, the question is why, or it's not accepted in other communities. They don't tolerate it. They rise up, march, and cut up, and do all of that. But us, we only gonna march or cut up is if a white person shoots us. But when it's us against each other, you don't hardly see it. Yep, you don't hardly see it enough. We don't talk about this enough. And guys, this needs to be addressed.
Right.
And again, like we're saying, it starts up in the home. So as parents, guys, we have to be that example for our kids. Like you said with the lady, how can we be an example to our kids if we're rapping the music? We want to be our kids' friends.
Right.
No,
exactly.
We're elders. We have to set the standard.
We want to be our kids' friends. That's a big part of it too, because we're seeing a lot of that right now. Like wanting to be friends with our kids, and they don't need that. What they need is parents.
Yep. They need guidance.
Because they need us to parent them.
The world is lost, guys. So you want to let the lost world guide them? They need you, that foundation, that rock to guide them and show them the way to go. What the scripture says, train up a child in the way that they should go.
All right.
That's our job, God. We can't, and that's something that makes me mad. It gets me heated a lot, because especially with fathers, guys, I'm always talking about fathers. We are so quick to give up our voice, our influence, the I don't know what the word to use, the control of our kids. We're so quick to give that up and say, I don't have no voice in it. They gonna do it anyway. That's on them. Again, what I just said earlier, what we were saying is that's what the devil wants. The devil wants you to be. That's another thing. He wants you to be quiet. He never wants you to call out his mess.
Yeah.
When you are silent on stuff, that's when he got you. Notice in the scripture how many times they called out what Yahushua did when he was tempted. He said, "Get from behind me, Satan." He called him out. He told that to Peter, "Get from behind thee." But when Satan was tempting him in the desert, what he did? He hit him with scripture each time. Each time, Satan said, "Jump off this temple." Yahushua said, "Don't put my father to the test." You got to call it out, guys. Call out his wickedness. Call out the things he's doing. But like I was saying,
and now you need the fathers.
Yep, definitely need them present.
The mothers too. We need everybody to come in as a village, and we know that a lot of you guys who are going to be watching this channel, I'm sure that you are, if you're watching us, then we know that you're striving to do the right thing and striving to raise your children up the right way. But we also hear stories of, even if you do raise them the right way, that, they can still become victim to the streets and hang with the wrong crowd. But the truth is that's only a small percentage.
A small percentage.
Because most of the time, if you install that in your children, that's going to be hard for them. Most of the time they'll be, I'm not saying they'll be perfect kids, because nobody's perfect. But they'll remember what you taught them as they're making life decisions.
Exactly.
So we have to fight hard for our, to get our children in the right direction, because the world is fighting hard against us.
Yep. Every day. We see where the world wants them to go by pushing this culture on them, influencing them with all this mess. So they need somebody to counter that. If you're not countering it, then that's all they're getting, and then you up there listening to the mess that they're listening to, they're gonna figure it's okay. Well, my mom's listening to it, my dad's listening to it. It must be okay. I don't see nothing wrong with it. So now somebody has to step up and say, no, we're not. No, we're not doing that. This is the way we're gonna do it.
And I'm not gonna be your friend, and I'm not gonna thumb it up, because I know that it is only created to destroy you. What parent want to see their children destroyed? So if you know that this thing is actually set in stone to destroy our youth, then why would we partake in it?
Exactly.
I'm not supporting that crap.
That's crazy.
It starts in the home. We often say that it starts in the home.
Proverbs 13:24 says, "Whoever spares a rod hates his son, but he who loves him is diligent to discipline him." We lost the discipline too.
Sparing the rod. Rod could also mean correction.
Exactly.
In the Bible.
Exactly. So we have to correct our kids. Like these kids that did that the other night. What are kids doing up at 1 a.m, 2 o'clock in the morning?
With guns. I know they're young, because a lot of the gun violence we're seeing is some 14, 15, 16. These kids are becoming paralyzed. We've seen that too. They're becoming young fathers and becoming paralyzed from gun violence. It is crazy.
When our son was in middle school, we saw
a lot of the young guys he went to school with.
They're on social media with posting with guns. And they were taking pictures, selfies with guns on social media. I'm like, wow, they allowing this on social media? Like,
it was so bad to the point to where we had to homeschool. We homeschooled for the remaining till he became old enough and went to college. Like, no way, because sometimes we just have to take a stand. Even if that means some sacrifices. If you even gotta pull them out and say, hey, I'm homeschooling. Do what you have to do to protect your children.
And we almost forgot this example. We talked about it earlier. Guys, again, what I was saying, the culture, especially for us, this is only in our culture, like what the guy was saying. In our culture, it's normal for us. They don't see nothing wrong with it. So when our son was going to school, he was riding the bus. Used to come pick him up. He was going to public school. The bus would come pick him up. Now here's the bus driver. First thing in the morning, kids getting ready to focus on their 1, 2, 3 and ABCs, having a great day at school. The bus driver pulls up. He's banging rap music on the bus. We like, nah, no, we're not allowing this.
And our son would come home and tell us about
the
it.
songs that they're playing.
And he was like, these songs are, they're crazy.
Yep.
It's a lot of stuff that talks about like sexual things, killings,
Yep.
and all of these things.
Yep.
And one time, like, I was so serious, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever he would come and tell us that, I said, hold on. I said, this is what y'all listening to? Some little 6th graders on the bus, little bitty middle school kids. That's what y'all got on your mind before y'all get to school. I told him, I said, pay attention to what station it is. So he found out the station that the man is pumping, that they're listening to. You know what I did? I went and I actually found the radio station online. And on the radio station, it actually gives you the lyrics of all the songs.
Mama Bear time.
I printed them out. You hear me? I printed all the lyrics out. And you know what I did? I went around, I looked at the songs that were playing around the time they were riding to school. They have all of this online.
Yep.
I looked at the exact time that they be on the bus and the songs that's playing.
Yep.
I printed it out. I went to the school board office with my evidence.
Yep.
And I let them read it. I let the principal read it.
Yeah, but so first what he told you, like, I don't see no problem with it.
Which one? The bus driver?
No, the when you went to the school board, they were saying there was no problem. They didn't see no problem with it until you pulled out the sheet.
Until I put out the lyrics. They was like, well, what,
It's on the radio,
Yes, and it's on the radio, and a lot of times they just play that because they're trying to get the children excited before they get to school. So it's really innocent. I was like, oh, that's how you feel? I said, okay, let me show you what they're listening to. Pulled it out. I had it highlighted. When that man finished reading that paper, this is how he was. He couldn't even speak. He was speechless. He said, I cannot believe this.
Yep.
He said, this won't ever happen again. He said, I'll make sure that this matter is addressed. He said, I can't even believe this. He said, there's no way children. He said, there's no way children can go to school with a right mindset listening to that kind of music. And at that time, that's when they were cutting up at the schools. I said, we're hearing a lot of why they're acting out. But the bus driver himself is trying to be cool with the kids, and really, he's trying to keep them quiet.
Yep. He's not setting the standard.
Not setting the standard and trying to keep them quiet. So I'm going to keep them quiet by feeding them what they like.
Yep.
Corruptness.
Yep.
But after that, he said, for the remaining of the year, the music was changed. It was listening to decent music. Never happened again.
And that's the point that we're trying to make, guys. Somebody has to take a stand, and it has to be us, the elders. We have to set the example and say,
protect our kids, our grandkids, whatever.
But just like what the guy was saying and the Caucasian was saying in the talk, it's normal in our community, and that's the question that we have to keep asking ourselves. Why is this culture normal in our community? Because you went to the school board and then they tried to pacify you and say, no, it's okay. It's just getting the kids hyped up and then getting them excited for the day. No.
And the really bus driver thought it was okay too.
No, really listen to what they're saying. We talking about killing and having sex with young girls and drug dealing. What? No, we're not doing that. No. But again, it was normal.
Right.
But that's on in our community. You wouldn't find that in no private school. They wouldn't allow that. The parents, once the first thing that they got hold of that would have been over with.
Right.
Within minutes.
And the supervisor was actually a Caucasian man. And guess what? Let me tell you guys what happened with him. Do you know that a couple of months later he was gone?
Wow.
This man actually helped me. I'm not going to even lie to you guys. He helped me because he fixed it. He changed it.
Wow.
He was gone. So because he was taking a stand, somebody didn't like it.
Right.
And came against it.
Right. That will happen, guys. When you take a stand, people will come against you. You just have to be willing to stand up. and say, nah, this is not going to happen.
Right.
And that's what we have to do. 1 Corinthians 15:33 says...
Which one?
Right here.
Oh, okay. Do not be deceived. Bad company corrupts good character.
It's true. That goes back to also a little leaven leavens the whole lump. Guys, it's all these little things. It seems like it's happy and they just having fun. Oh, that's the young culture. That's what they do. Nah. Scripture tells us bad company corrupts good morals. So this is why you have a mother, a wife getting murdered in her bedroom because of the bad company, because of the leaven.
Yes.
Because nobody disciplined them.
Nobody.
We have to step up, guys, and we have to change this. We have to change this. Again, we don't see this in the other communities. Let's finish with this last little piece that I want you guys to hear, where he talks about, and again, you hear it on TV too all the time, that, it's free speech, it's freedom of expression. They can say whatever they want. Why are you going up against it? But guys, that's not true. Because some things in the rap songs, they cannot say. They can say, murdering black men. They can say selling drugs to them. They can call our women B's. They can call them H's. But if you touch a certain topic, they coming after you. And y'all know if they talk against the homosexual, that's one of them. Talk against the homosexual community, they coming for them. Y'all heard those stories before. You have the example of the show that we be watching all the time.
We often watch a black judge show. And the reason why we do that is because we do that to learn about our, people. It helps us to be able to learn about our community. And we actually watch it sometimes with our kids. And we discuss it. There's always different topics on there. But every single time we watch it, it does the exact same commercial come on every single time. And it is with a black man who is a homosexual. And I'm trying to be nice, because Yahushua said he came for the sick. So I'm trying to be nice, but I'm saying we can see the agenda in it, because it's every single time. That is a black station, what we watch. Right. So they know that it's us who is watching it, and it's targeted towards us, because what they're trying to do is make it normal to us. Because they can show Caucasian homosexuals. Why aren't we seeing that? Right. Why is it just a black man, an African American man that we see who's continued? He keeps showing up every single commercial with him, and it's obvious he's that way. Right. He's acting like that intentionally. Exactly. So it's not like, you trying to read through it like, is it? No. It's obvious. We can see the Snapple commercial. I'm sure you guys probably seen it. Right. Too. It's a Snapple commercial. Yes. And they have him acting that way. Right. So that just goes to show we are targeted. Yep. That is just the truth of what it is. It's not just trying to be racist on it. The reality is this is what it is for us. Right. We're being indoctrinated and we're being targeted. This is done on purpose, and that's why I'm playing these clips. You heard it from the man. It's the radio station's there for it. They said they got a market for it, and as long as they keep feeding us to it, we strengthening the hand of the evildoer. We have to turn that stuff off, guys. Tell our kids turn it off. No, we're not listening to that. Yes. They in the car with their friends. Nah, man, put on something else. Teach them about it. Teach them what's being done to them. Yep. That is intentional. Because when we see that commercial pop up each time, we tell it out. They even tell us, it was like, now I see why they're doing that, because this is a black station. We're being targeted. Our children are saying this. We have to teach that to them so they can recognize it and spot it right on. Yep. But let's listen to this last statement from this guy.
The smartest guys in the room again. You're talking about censorship. I don't believe that. I believe in free art. Make whatever you want. I believe you should make music about anti-Semitism. I believe you should make music about killing dogs. I believe in this country you should make music about bashing homosexuals and driving them behind trucks. I believe you should make music about stringing people up on trees. I believe you should make music about killing whitey. I believe you should make all that music. But I also believe that in the mainstream marketplace, people should hesitate associating their name with certain content. There's certain stuff you can't buy at the store. Certain stuff you can't get on iTunes because their brand doesn't want it. But if you want to hear black people celebrating killing black people, they got thousands and thousands and thousands of those things to sell you. I don't think it's about censorship. I think it's about American cultural hypocrisy. Because here's the truth. These black entertainers, they can't sing just about anything. There's some stuff that'll get them fired, and they get dropped, and they get fired, and they get slapped on the wrist, and they get disciplined all the time. Why? Because sometimes they step over the bounds. A very famous case is what happened with Rick Ross. Rick Ross is the Mammy Two Shoes, one of the many Mammy Two Shoes of our day. He's a black entertainer in a world carved out for him, and a role carved out for him by white entertainment companies. And one day he talked about, in the middle of a song that celebrated dealing drugs and killing blacks, he made a reference to date rape. And when he made that reference to date rape, that set social media on fire. That got 100,000 petitions in 24 hours. Hey, buddy, date rape is no joke. That had white people standing outside of Reebok in New York saying, you better take this seriously. We're tired of a rape culture in America. One line in one song moved the masses. And you know what Reebok did? Did they stand by him and say, hey, we believe in freedom of speech. We believe in freedom of expression. It's just a song. Calm down. No, they fired his tail on the spot. The president came out and said, this goes against our high standards. He's gone against the values of our brand. Shame on Rick Ross. We're disappointed. He doesn't know how serious date rape is. And when I saw that, I thought, wow, how convenient. Isn't that amazing? But here's what really happened. It's not their brand, it's not their values. Rick Ross went off script. He was hired to get black customers, and they think that black customers go with black bait. And in America, black bait is the hyper-criminalized, hyper-sexualized portrayal of black people. And as long as he had sung about that, the stuff that got him hired, he still have a job at Reebok. But when he touched other sensitivities that affect us, he lost his job.
That was deep.
Wow.
That was deep.
He said it. When he touched on stuff that affected them,
Caucasian.
they cut him off. He lost that contract. So guys, just like what he was saying, Rick Ross could have talked about killing blacks, sexualizing our women, selling drugs to them, murder, all that stuff.
Selling drugs, right?
But the minute he touched about date rape and that affected the other communities, we're not having that. Y'all can kill each other. Yep, y'all can kill each other and do all that wildness. Y'all can do that, but don't talk about stuff that deals with us. X them out real quick.
My goodness.
Tell me there's not an agenda in this, guys. And that's another part about this, the hip hop culture. And again, guys, we were there. We once listened to all that stuff, and we were fooled at the same time. But we came up in a different time, and
fatherless homes.
Exactly. We didn't have our parents educated in the truth like how we've been. They only gave us what they had.
Absolutely.
But, guys, the rappers today, the culture today, a lot of them guys not even living that type of lifestyle.
Absolutely.
So you're putting these things out and influencing our kids, and y'all don't even live that. The Lil Waynes of the world, the Rick Rosses of the world, the Jay-Z's of the world, these guys are millionaires. They're not in the street shooting guns and selling drugs and all that stuff like that.
Even the women. The women that we see, like the Nicki Minaj's, and a lot of them, a lot of these women, what is the other one? Cardi B.
Yep.
Some of these women are married. Really, now they're married to men who really
put them out there.
They're really pimps.
Right.
Just a little cover up. But anywho, what I'm trying to say is they're married.
Yep.
They are promoting to young girls sex.
Yep.
Sleeping around with multiple men.
Yep.
Being the dominant one. Being the independent one. The one that you don't need no man. They're promoting all of these things. But on the other side of it, they're in relationships.
Not in relationships.
They're married. Yeah, they're married. Many of them are married.
So why are you not promoting marriage to our daughters? It's ridiculous, guys. So,
we gotta do something.
And it's up to us. It's up to the parents, guys. It's up to the parents. We can't be deceived. Matthew 24 and 4. It's Yahushua was talking, and he said, you want to read that?
And Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you.
You're hearing it from the guy who's giving the TED Talk. We're being deceived, especially us in our community, guys.
That's just the truth of it.
We think that this is our culture. Yeah, it's more, and that's one thing I hate too, is we are more than just rappers, entertainers, athletes. We are so
royalty.
Exactly. It's way back from where we come from. And all the things that our people been through, the Booker T. Washingtons, the Dr. King, the Rosa Parks,
we had so
George
many
Washington Carver. We're
goodness.
some of the most intelligent people in the world. So we're not just these, how they portray us.
No.
We're way more than that. And we've fallen into the stereotype by making these things normal.
Right.
No, we have to stand up. No, this is not normal.
Nope.
We don't accept this.
Nope.
And we're going to do it different. And
Yep.
God, that's what we have to do to change this thing around, guys. And how we do it is turning back to Yah. Bringing our kids back, teaching them about Yah.
Yes.
And it all starts back in the home. What we said in the beginning. It all starts in the home. And that's
Absolutely.
what each and every one of us can do. Take control of our homes.
It's very important right now because we are definitely in the last days. We've
Right.
been hearing it for a long time.
Mhm.
But if you look at what's happening in the world right
Mhm.
now, I mean, things are getting worse each day. So we are definitely in the last days, and it's time for us to, get our children into the word,
Mhm.
teach them right and protect our kids. Regardless of whatever you have to do to make sacrifices,
Mm-hmm.
do it. It's important right now. They need us.
Guys, and
They
we
need
talked
us.
about this too, and about the importance of the parents teaching the kids. We talked about that. Go back and look at our lesson on church. Is this the place, the home for the sick? We
The
talked
church
about the
home.
parents. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Taking control, because guys, the church let us down. Let's admit it. The church let us down. What happened is the church took on the ways of the culture, and we see that this culture is a culture of death. And in the church, it's a spiritual death. They're not giving people meat. All you teaching is a prosperity gospel, and not teaching against sin, and then not teaching for fathers to come back into the homes and take control of their homes. Telling people to repent of their sins and turn back to Yah. Come on, guys.
And
the church has let us down.
Yes, and many of these big pastors you're seeing, like the T.D. Jakes and all of them, these pastors are really not, they're not sent by Yah.
No.
That's not his gospel. It's not his good news. When Yahushua with them came and they walked on the earth, his apostles, his disciples, all of them, they taught the kingdom. It was never about prosperity. They never taught us to get caught up in this world.
Right.
That's not Yah's gospel, guys.
Not at all.
Not his good news.
1 Corinthians, it says 6:9. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of Yah? So the unrighteous are not going to inherit the kingdom, guys. And that's what we want to teach our kids, how to be righteous. And that's by following Yah's word, following his ways. And we have to set the standards for our kids, guys. We have to turn back to the village. Don't somebody correct your child. Don't be so quick to go back and say, oh, don't tell my child nothing. You can't correct them. No, your child needs that. We're all kids once, and we were wrong a lot of times. So come on, guys. We have to do better. But there is hope for us, guys. There is hope. Because in Malachi 4:6, Yahuwah talks about how he will not destroy the earth and what's going to happen in the last days. He says, and he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children. This is the last verse in Malachi from the crossover from the Old Testament to the New Testament. And it talks about the fathers coming back to the children and the children coming back to the fathers. And that's how important it is. And the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with the curse. So until that happens, guys, Yah is going to come back and smite the earth with the curse. But everybody has to turn back, guys. And we have to do our part.
And we got to pray.
Exactly.
Let's pray for each other's families, for our families. Let's pray for our community. Because we all need prayer. Our children need prayer.
Yes.
They are lost.
They are lost.
They are caught up in this world, and it's just a sad and painful thing. And this message is really because of sadness.
Right.
Because of what we've seen that happen with our family member, and because we see what's happening to our community, to our youth. That's what we need to be addressing. Let's address what we're doing to each other. That stuff needs to be talked about, and it needs to be addressed.
Exactly. And it needs to end, guys. And it's up to us. This has nothing to do with no other communities or anything like that. This is us. This is on us. We have to address it. Nobody's coming to save us. As we can see, this thing is being done on purpose. So they're going to keep making money off. They see a money play on this thing. So that's why they're going to keep promoting it. Somebody is profiting off of this. And they always go keep it that way to keep us being seen as inferior. Keep us to be seen as animals. We'll never be seen as the people of the book that we are. Because of how they keep promoting this stuff.
Not here on earth.
No.
Until Yah,
until he returns. Yep.
But he will turn it around. But until then, we got to work. We got to do some work here.
So
We have to do
guys,
some work.
We hope that this lesson, we wrapping it up, that it touched you guys.
Yes.
If you experienced it, we like to hear from you, the story that you have,
Right.
how this senseless violence impacted you and your family. Guys, we have to change it. This has to stop, because it is just senseless. This is no need for none of this.
Now we have a husband and his daughter. He don't even know what to do. The mom was like, she did a lot for them.
Exactly.
You know, and she's gone, and the daughter is 16. Well, she's actually 15.
Right.
And that's the time when she needed her mother the most.
Right.
To talk about, things that's going on in school, and situations that you need a mother for. So she doesn't have that now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah, guys, just say a prayer for us. Say a prayer for our community.
Family.
We'll say a prayer for you guys. And everybody, guys, just turn our hearts back to Yah.
Yes.
Especially our children. They need
That's
it because
really the answer.
they
Turning
up
back to
against
Yah.
a lot. Yep. But they need us to be the
yes.
guidance.
And they
to
need
guide
that
them.
foundation.
Exactly.
Oh, yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day,
Yes.
and hope to hear back from you guys soon.
Yes.
Enjoy your day.
Like and subscribe, guys.